Everyone knew that my boyfriend spoiled me rotten, but that didn't stop him from making out with another girl in the stairwell. When I brought up breaking up, he held my hand, looking exhausted, and told me to stop making a scene. He said, "Baby, my heart belongs to you." Years later, while he was still waiting for me, I called him with a smile. "My wedding is early next month, just bring yourself. No need for a big gift." The snow in Boston had started to melt. It was cold, but not as cold as the chill in my heart. When Ethan walked me to the boarding gate at the airport, my tears finally fell. "You can still come back with me right now," I said. At the same time, I prayed silently in my heart. "This is your last chance. Please, just come with me, just like we've done since we were kids." Holding hands through countless mornings and twilights, he wiped away my tears. "Silly girl, I need to work overtime now so I can get a full-time offer after graduation. I want to give you the best life with my own two hands." Ethan was a senior, I was a sophomore. I had followed him all the way from our hometown to Boston for college. My parents hadn't wanted me to leave Chicago, and they gave me the cold shoulder for the entire summer before my freshman year because of it. I kept crying and crying. He panicked a little. "What's wrong? I'm only coming back a few days later than you. Can you really not be away from me for that long?" He sighed, held the back of my head, and pulled me into his embrace. The scent of cold plum blossoms mixed with the winter chill on his coat washed over me. I hugged him tightly. "This was the last time," I said. "Ethan, growing up, I never really had any dreams. My biggest dream was just to be by your side. That's why I applied wherever you applied." I sniffled. "I actually learned a lot. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten into Boston University. I have you to thank for that. And when I was in 9th grade, if you hadn't saved me, I might have drowned. I really am grateful to you." He pinched the tip of my nose, amused. "You quirky little girl. What kind of trick are you playing on me now? I didn't save you for nothing. You have to repay me with your life." When he smiled, his eyes were gentle and dazzling. He had been the role model adults praised since childhood: good grades, good looks, highly capable. When I was a freshman in high school, he would boldly hold my hand, walking through the crowded corridors, attracting countless envious glances. He never hid his love for me because of our age, but he didn't belong to me anymore. He couldn't resist Chloe's temptation. It was normal. Chloe had no moral compass. She loved stealing other people's boyfriends. Plus, she was beautiful, with bright eyes and white teeth. I suppose any man would find it hard to look away. I passed through security. I looked back at him one last time. Through my teary eyes, I saw him still waving at me. I cried the whole way back. When I got off the plane, my parents were there to pick me up. "Why are you crying? Did someone bully you?" "No, Ethan and I broke up." I sent the breakup text after I got off the plane. Then, I blocked him. My phone kept notifying me of blocked calls and messages. They were all from Ethan. It wasn't the first time he and Chloe had done this. At a gathering, her leg rubbed against his under the table. He just raised an eyebrow with a faint expression. If another girl hadn't told me, and if I hadn't checked the restaurant's surveillance footage, I wouldn't have believed it. They even went to the stairwell to make out. The Ethan who was with Chloe was a stranger to me. The wickedness and frivolity in his eyes, those unrestrained, vulgar movements. I didn't know how to connect him with the upright, decent Ethan I knew. Chloe went to the same high school as us. Many of the top students from our high school had gone to universities in Boston. Chloe had started a group chat with a few guys. The group name was Hook Up. There were 5 people in total, and Ethan was one of them. It was full of sexy, revealing photos sent by Chloe. Ethan didn't talk, but he didn't leave the group either. I discovered all of this when he got sick. Ethan and I were very close. We knew all of each other's passwords. I often used his phone to text my friends or call my parents. Sometimes, as a prank, I would mimic him chatting with others. I never imagined he had another phone behind my back. At that time, he had a high fever, 103F, and was groggy. I went to his dorm to bring him food, do his laundry, and clean up. That phone fell out of his internship bag. At that moment, Chloe tagged him in the group. "Ethan Rich, heard you have a fever. That has a flavor of its own." Ethan's WeChat name was Ethan Rich. Mine was Emily Rich. Because his name was Ethan, and mine was Emily, we thought it was cute. I didn't expect his burner account to use a similar matching name structure, except he used it to flirt with other girls. He was sleeping in a daze, and my mind went blank, my hands trembling. I took his finger and unlocked the screen. Chloe had sent a photo of herself biting her lip, black lace peeking out. Her expression was indescribable, somewhere between pleasure and pain. The other guys in the group were all famous figures back in our high school. Top of the class, dream guys for countless girls. In that group, they revealed another side. All sorts of comments that completely shattered my worldview. Ethan used to tell me that men weren't good things. He told me not to interact with other guys. He was 2 years older than me. Our middle and high schools were on the same campus, so he used to drag me all over the school grounds holding hands. We were a famous campus couple. After starting college, he would check my phone often. He probably knew my contact list better than I did. I used to smile and ask him, "Then are you a good person?" He said, "To you, I am a good person." I didn't understand what he meant back then. I just felt safe. You can't hide a person's love for you. You can feel it. Ethan had always loved me. I could feel it. That love used to make me feel happy and secure. But now, it only caused me more pain. If he didn't love me anymore and wanted to be with another girl, I could understand. What I couldn't understand was why he had to betray me when we clearly had no problems. Now, in the blocked messages folder, he was explaining frantically, "There's nothing between her and me. I didn't do anything to betray you. She can't compare to even a finger of yours. That group is full of classmates. They pulled me in. If I left abruptly, they'd think I was being pretentious. Their connections are important. I've left the group now. Can you just pick up the phone? Baby, don't break up." I was wrong. Okay. I posted a status on my social media. New year, new start, happy to be single. Chloe liked it immediately. I blocked her immediately. The next morning, I woke up to see Ethan sitting on the sofa in my living room. He looked haggard and travel-worn, his eyes full of red veins. My heart ached. My dad said to me, "Ethan arrived on a flight in the middle of the night and waited outside all night. Talk it out properly. Breakfast is on the table. Don't eat on an empty stomach." Then he went out for morning exercise with my mom. "Let's talk," Ethan said to me, his voice a bit hoarse. "There's nothing to talk about. I've made the reason for the breakup very clear." He furrowed his brows. "How many years have we been together? Growing up together? Nearly 20 years. Are you really going to break up with me? Can you even live without me?" Because we were children of teachers and lived in faculty housing. And I started school early. I practically grew up following him around. He was my guiding light. I relied on him heavily. We can still be friends. We can tell our parents that we just weren't compatible. I kept my face cold. The most heartbreaking and difficult time had already passed when I was sick with the fever myself. Back then, I cried all day and felt listless. He thought it was because of the sickness, but mostly, it was because I had discovered his betrayal. He tried to take my hand. "Emily, don't be like this. Chloe isn't worth us breaking up over. Do you know what she is in the eyes of us guys? Just a tool. She doesn't require respect. How can you date me and go to a hotel with her at the same time?" I couldn't help but ask. His expression didn't panic at all. He looked at me calmly. "I never went to a hotel with her. I was just in that group. You know those other guys, they are capable, whether they stay in Boston or not. They are important connections." I looked away. He still wanted to lie to me at a time like this. "Since you won't tell the truth, we have nothing to talk about. Leave." "Don't, baby," he sighed low. "I know you can't understand, but I have to tell you. Male and female thinking is different. For a guy, going to a hotel with a girl is just like going to the bathroom. Whether a guy loves someone has nothing to do with that. Chloe isn't worth our concern. The only person I love is you." I looked at him as if he were a stranger. He touched his nose and continued, "You've been protected too well by your family. You're too innocent. You don't understand the complexity of the outside world. When we go out to work, anyone with ambition who wants to achieve something, who doesn't have to socialize. And socializing often happens in places of debauchery. Men's nature is flawed. I'm telling you, all men in the world are the same. Unless you stay single forever, you will encounter this situation again. Take your dad and my dad for example. Do you think when they went fishing together when they were young, they were really fishing?" I looked at him in shock. He continued to drop bombs on my shattered worldview. "They used fishing as an excuse to cover for each other, then went to red light districts. You were small then. Our moms caught them several times. Look at them now. Can you say they aren't happy? Young couples become old companions. In the end, spouses are just friends. Human nature is just that nasty. You don't understand now, but I'll teach you. Okay, don't break up. By the way, didn't you like Senior Jessica?" I took a deep breath, my head feeling numb. I remembered that when I was little, my parents did argue a lot. Every time they fought, my dad acted like a sinner. I used to think my mom was too mean. So those details were actually about this. My dad's usual image was that of a good husband and father. He was handsome and thin, wore glasses, had a gentle temper, and liked wearing semi-formal suits. And Uncle Hayes, Ethan's dad, They were known as model husbands. He continued. Senior Jessica used to be with a wealthy businessman. Didn't her boyfriend cheat and break up with her? In the end, couldn't they not leave each other? Now they play their own games, but the person they love most is still each other. Ethan went on. Emily, in the end, as long as the man is willing to come home, it's fine. Life is long. Don't be so calculating about everything. If you live a little more obliviously, you'll be much happier. I used to think you hadn't grown up yet, so telling you too much wouldn't be good. Now it seems I told you too late. Slap. I was so angry I slapped him hard. This was the first time I had ever hit anyone. My hand was shaking violently. When we were together, we rarely even argued. He was the older brother, the leader since childhood. I just had to be obedient, and he took care of me meticulously. I didn't expect my slap to land on his face. He had always been the model we looked up to and chased after. He covered his face, looking at me in disbelief. My voice shook too. Leave. Don't force me to say uglier things. Emily, what do you want? Tell me. I won't do the things you hate anymore. Okay. He half knelt in front of me, begging. I took a step back. Tears fell like broken beads. It turned out everything beautiful I saw had such a filthy side behind it. And Senior Jessica, such a gentle and beautiful person, how did she go bad too? While crying my heart out, I thought about how complex the world was. No wonder Mom didn't want me to go far away. Thinking of Mom, I blamed myself. Back then, because Mom was fierce to Dad, I was unhappy and wouldn't talk to her. She had secretly cried back then, to preserve Dad's image in my mind, to prevent me from feeling resentment. Mom had suffered so much grievance. Baby, hit me to vent your anger. Okay, hit me again. Ethan grabbed my hand and tried to slap his own face with it. I pulled my hand back tightly behind me, speaking in a muffled voice. Just go. Go mess around with whoever you want. Have an open relationship with whoever you want. Do whatever you like. Baby, you clearly love me. Let's not fight over this. Okay, I swear. I won't have those wrong thoughts anymore. I'll only have you from now on. Okay, look. I deleted all of Chloe's contact info from my phone. Really? Here, take this phone. I swear, don't break up with me. Okay, please, I can't stand it. I pushed him away fiercely. You are filthy. I got up and ran into my room. Just as I tried to close the door, he blocked it, not letting me shut it. I couldn't push him back. What are you doing? I shouted angrily. He smiled, but his eyes were bloodshot and contained no mirth. He patted my cheek. They say you're naive. And you really are. I have 100 ways to prove my innocence. Do you want to try? Finally, he pushed the door open and lay on my bed. I'm really so tired. Let me sleep, and when I wake up, I'll apologize properly. The phone is here. As long as you don't break up with me, anything goes. I was even more heartbroken by his shamelessness. I ran to Uncle Hayes' house. They were making dumplings. Seeing me, Auntie Yuan sighed. Emily, you've hooked our Ethan's soul away. He goes to your place first even when he comes home now. I choked back tears and tattled. Uncle Hayes, Auntie Yuan, I want to break up with Ethan because he fell for Chloe, but he won't agree. He even threatened me, saying if I dare to break up, he'll get me pregnant. Uncle Hayes and Auntie Yuan froze. After listening to the whole story, they grabbed a feather duster and went to my house. Ethan was dragged away. Before leaving, he said to me, Emily, I didn't agree to break up. I only love you. I didn't look at him, staring elsewhere. During the New Year holiday, I went nowhere. When Ethan came to find me, I hid in my bedroom. After a few times, he stopped coming. My parents were very affectionate in front of me, but every time I saw them, I wondered, are they really in love? Mom must have a thorn in her heart, but I couldn't resent my dad. I couldn't hate someone who loved me. That was too painful. But I didn't give my dad any warm looks. Before I prepared to go back to school, my parents sat me down for a talk. They started playing good cop, bad cop, or rather, a duet of persuasion. My mom actually said to me, men, aren't they all like that? At least Ethan cares about you and protects you. Even putting romance aside, he treats you better than a brother treats a sister. He did wrong this time, but he knows it. You can play hard to get. Let him know there's a price for making mistakes, but don't really give up on him. My dad followed up. Ethan is handsome, smart, and flexible. He'll do big things in the future. Even if you find someone else, who can guarantee the next one won't cheat? Maybe he won't even treat you as well as Ethan does. Mom, our families know each other inside out. If Ethan dares to be a jerk in the future, with us 4 adults here, can't we handle him? Mom, Emily, you don't have siblings. Ethan grew up with you. You two are closer than real siblings. In the future, when your dad and I are gone, I'm counting on him to take care of you," Dad added. "The adult world isn't so black and white, right and wrong. Don't condemn a person to death just because of one action. To be honest, sometimes Ethan cares more about you than we do as parents. Look at your dog, that pile of antique dolls in your room. The makeup and lipsticks you like, wasn't it Ethan who thought of giving them to you first?" I said spitefully. "I'll return everything to him." Mom sighed. "Silly child, what matters is his heart. We can all see his devotion to you. Maybe he's young and went astray hanging out with those friends. Talk to him. Give him a chance. If you discard him, can you find someone better? He doesn't have major character flaws. I knew he was good to me. We were closer than siblings. Sometimes, I felt Ethan was the other side of my life, but what could I do? He had been with another girl. When I boarded the plane, I saw Ethan. And Chloe. Chloe was flirting with another guy. Ethan looked at me nervously and whispered, "Chloe has a boyfriend. Baby, don't be mad." "Okay." I ignored him. Chloe sat in front of us. She turned around, smiled brilliantly at me, and said, "Cutie, I really didn't touch your boyfriend." That was Chloe. She played loose, cared about nothing, and only chased thrills. Ethan didn't dare speak anymore, just sat next to me. Only when I got back to the dorm did I escape Ethan. Escaping that feeling of suffocation and tearing. Ethan was right. Leaving him and forgetting him wasn't easy. He had raised me to be dependent. We were like two trees that grew up leaning on each other. Our roots were entangled deep, deep down. To leave him, I had to pull out the part of my own roots that were embedded in him with my own hands. I became much quieter. He followed me to class. I couldn't skip class, so I had to endure. I didn't go to the library. In my free time, I just studied in my dorm. At first, Ethan tried to talk to me, but after being met with coldness many times, he gradually fell silent too. While I was doing homework in the dorm, I received a call from Ethan's roommate, Emily. "Ethan is in the hospital. Come take a look." Ethan had gotten into a severe car accident while driving. My parents and his parents flew to Boston. Ethan was still in the ICU, unconscious. His roommate, who interned at the same company, told me, "Emily, I don't know why you're so determined to break up with Ethan. To us, he really loves you. His mood has been severely affected recently. He hasn't been sleeping well or focusing. Sometimes, don't be so stubborn that you do something you'll regret for life." Uncle Hayes and Auntie Yuan took leave to come to Boston. They looked much older. Ethan lay there for 3 days. Auntie Yuan cried often, and Uncle Hayes sighed constantly. My parents looked at me, wanting to speak but stopping. I sat on the cold chair in the hospital hallway, remembering a summer vacation when I had to go to tutoring. I didn't want to go. Halfway through class, he rushed in frantically and lied to the teacher, saying my grandma was sick. Actually, my grandma had passed away long ago. I was confused then. He led me out of the tutoring center, then burst out laughing. We played all day that day, eating at the mall, walking by the river. He took photos of me, and we went to the movies and shopped. We didn't feel tired at all. I said, "My parents will kill me when they find out I skipped class." He blinked at me slyly, "Then we'll go back at midnight. It'll be sleeping time. They won't have much time to scold you. How about it?" We came to Boston. Sometimes, seeing him waiting for me at the dorm door like other boys, I felt like he had waited for me for many years, and would wait for me for many more. When we hugged, the wind he stirred up carried a faint scent, and a strange masculine aura, giving a sense of unfamiliar freshness. We walked hand in hand from childhood to college, from our hometown to Boston. The streets we walked, the snacks we ate, the jokes we laughed at. It seemed we had done more than many people do in a lifetime. A little rabbit in a book asked, "Should I chase you back, or turn and leave?" Becoming wise from now on. Ethan woke up 3 days later. His memory was stuck in elementary school. The doctor said it was a brain impact causing temporary amnesia. Uncle Hayes and Auntie Yuan taught graduating classes and couldn't stay in Boston to care for him forever. They didn't say anything, but I knew the adults wanted to use this opportunity to get us back together. We rented an apartment near the school. After my parents and his left, Ethan looked at me cautiously. "Emily, are you mad at me?" I smiled. "No." The loneliness on his face was undisguised. "I remember you used to cling to me. Why are you so distant now that we've grown up?" "Because we grew up." Ethan looked like he wanted to say something. I had class in the afternoon. He held my hand tightly, as if afraid of getting lost. Classmates saw us and assumed we were back together. In the cafeteria, we ran into a junior student, Liam, who was a year below me. He had just finished playing ball. Seeing us, his face instantly turned sour, and he stopped in his tracks. Ethan asked me, "Who is he?" "A junior." We took our trays and sat down. Liam sat right next to us. Senior sister. Ethan's face stiffened. Liam sneered at Ethan. Heard you have amnesia from a car crash. What? Playing the victim for sympathy. You use that trick too. I frowned. He's sick. Don't talk like that. Liam huffed reluctantly. Perfect. I'm free lately. I can take care of senior brother. Don't need you. Emily will take care of me, Ethan said coldly. Liam huffed again. Then I'll accompany senior sister. After speaking, Liam turned to look at me, pitiful as a puppy. Where was the arrogant attitude from a second ago? Actually, Liam and I were quite close. When new students arrived, the department liked to have mentorship programs where seniors guided juniors. Liam was one of the juniors I mentored. He was also the most high-maintenance one. He got lost in every corner of the campus and the city. He lost his meal card and student ID 10 times a month. He asked for my help every time, looking pitiful and aggrieved, like a little prince from an ivory tower encountering real life for the first time. And every time, he insisted on treating me to a meal. Back then, Ethan was busy with his internship and didn't know I had such a troublesome junior. One weekend, Ethan came to pick me up to go to the Forbidden City. As soon as we left the gate, the junior called, saying he was sick. Ethan raised an eyebrow, took my phone, scrolled through our chat and call history, smiled gently at me, patted my head, and said, "My baby has grown up. She knows how to take care of other boys now." I didn't understand his underlying meaning at all, just complaining with a frown. This junior is really too much. He treats me like a free nanny. Ethan went to Liam's dorm. He came down shortly after and told me, "It's fine. I just told him to drink more hot water." That day, Ethan pulled me to take many intimate photos and posted them on social media. Liam came to find me that night, eyes red, confessing his feelings, saying he liked me and telling me to break up with Ethan. I almost dug a hole to hide in because behind Liam, Ethan had returned. He crossed his arms and chuckled. "Your behavior right now is that of a homewrecker." Liam just sneered. "You can't give her happiness, but I can. I've seen plenty of two-faced guys like you. Once she knows your true face, she'll definitely dump you." That day ended with the two of them fighting and alerting the school teachers. Since then, Liam acted weirdly whenever he saw us. When I posted about the breakup, everyone expressed regret, except him celebrated. But after that fight, I deleted Liam. Someone else told me he celebrated my breakup on his feed. Now, Liam said to me, "Senior, I was right, wasn't I? But don't be sad. I'm still waiting for you, no matter how long." I'll wait. Before I could speak, Ethan said to me, "Emily, I'm full. I want to go back." We left, and Liam followed. On the way, classmates who knew us took extra glances. I felt incredibly awkward. Ethan looked upset, holding my hand and walking very fast. When we got to the rental, Liam tried to follow us in. Ethan blocked the door. "You're not welcome here." Liam whistled. Ethan slammed the door shut. What happened between us? He turned back, looking at me with red-rimmed eyes. While he was in the hospital, none of us told him that we had been together and then broke up. I looked at his innocent and aggrieved expression. I thought, primary school Ethan only knew how to stuff my bag with snacks, hold my hand to and from school, and play at the playground until we were sweaty. Sometimes when we were tired, we could just fall asleep in each other's homes. Senior year Ethan was still stuck in that phase. I thought for a moment and said, "You being happy like this is good enough. As for the rest, let's talk about it when you remember." "I can't be happy like this," he said angrily. "We were clearly best friends, eating together, sleeping together. Why is it that after I slept and woke up, you're so distant? And who was that guy outside? Why do you seem close? Who does he think he is?" I was silent for a while, then said, "Because people change. You're still in elementary school, but when you grow up, you meet many people and see a dazzling world." Did I go bad? Did I get close to someone else first, making you angry? He looked at me, like when other little boys gave you candy and you took it, and I got mad. Is it like that? I sighed softly. A piece of candy. If only life were really that simple. Sometimes, you don't know I'll get angry, and I don't know you'll get angry. He paused, then added, "Or maybe I really did wrong. But the teacher says, if you know your mistakes and change, that's the greatest virtue." Emily, will you forgive me? Thinking of the footage I saw, my heart was struck violently. Emily, we said we'd be best friends forever, and you'd be my bride when we grew up. Let's not go back on our word. Okay. I forced a smile. You're sick right now. Let's talk when you remember. Liam texted me, asking me to add him back on WeChat. I added him. He started apologizing, saying he shouldn't have mocked a patient, apologizing for his rashness, and wanting to treat us to dinner. I just said no need. At bedtime, Ethan looked at me and asked, "Emily, can we sleep together like before?" I shook my head. "No way, we're adults now. Adults can't sleep together." Suddenly, I thought about him knowing about the elders' affairs. He must have been terrified back then too. Was he sad that the two fathers who were usually upright and kind had such dirty, nasty sides? Maybe he was scared too, that his happy home might fall apart. I said to him, "You knew about my dad and your dad, didn't you?" He looked at me in surprise. For a moment, he looked at a loss. So he didn't tell me back then because he was afraid I'd be sad, and to protect me. I sniffled. "Ethan, adults make mistakes, and they should change, but we can't learn from them." He nodded and said to me, "Don't be sad either. It'll always be with you, no matter what happens." So, what exactly is love? He clearly loved me, was more attentive to me than my parents, and we had completely merged into each other's lives. Yet, behind my back, he flirted with other girls and went to hotels with them. Days passed without ripples. My daily life consisted of going to class and going back to the rental. Because Ethan had amnesia, he followed me everywhere. Liam got my schedule too and ran to my classes every day. I really couldn't stand the strange looks from classmates and teachers. I asked Liam, "Don't you have your own classes?" He answered, "Senior, I am in class." Seeing I was angry, he answered seriously, "I'm taking sophomore electives in advance." Ha ha ha. Was he that smart? We were medical students. The workload was heavier than high school, and he was taking advanced sophomore courses. Ethan studied law. He had already passed the bar exam in the first semester of his senior year and entered a so-called top-tier firm for an internship. Now the internship was delayed, but luckily for his major, if you wanted to be idle, you could really be idle. With Liam's forceful intrusion, we became a very strange trio. Ethan didn't want to see Liam. He cooked every day, and we only went to school when we had class. He was very well behaved, just like when he was little, following me eagerly all day. When I studied, he would prop his head up and stare at me motionlessly. Sometimes he said, "Emily, you grew up to be really pretty. What's the use of being pretty? What is meant to be lost will still be lost. You're not bad yourself." I replied. Sometimes he looked gloomy and said, "You've changed a lot. I don't know what you're thinking. When you smile, it's not because you're happy." I knew, just like at home, if I didn't talk, my parents would desperately ask, "Daughter, are you unhappy? What's wrong? Don't hide it from us." Even though most times, I just wanted to be quiet for a while. Ethan was also dedicated to making me happy, but the cruelest lesson in life was taught to me by them together. A piece of my heart was suddenly hollowed out, a piece that had grown for so many years. How could I be happy? On the weekend, my roommates planned to climb Geophone Vulture Peak. I took Ethan along, and Liam was there too. When Ethan and I were together before, he often joined our dorm activities. There were many peach blossoms on the mountain, perfect for photos. The girls were very happy. I wanted to give the camera to Ethan, but remembering his amnesia, I turned to hand it to Liam. Ethan reached out and took it, asking inquisitively. I seemed to have some impression of this. I told him a few common buttons and ran to join my roommates. Liam looked at me with a smile and said, "Senior, we haven't taken a photo together yet. Let's trouble senior brother to take a few for us." Ethan said coolly, "Sure." The resulting photos were all blurry. The other photos were fine. The scenery on the mountain was beautiful and magnificent, opening up one's mind. It felt like the entire city was under our feet. I remembered my greatest wish used to be being with Ethan. I never thought about what I would do if I left him one day. No one can rely on someone forever, and no one can be lazy. "Emily, when you graduate, let's go back to our hometown. I don't like it here." The mountain wind was fierce. Ethan stood beside me, tilting his head to look at me, speaking seriously. "Let's talk when you get better." Liam brought water and snacks over to share. Halfway up, we met Chloe. This time, she had another guy beside her. Seeing us, Chloe greeted us with a smile. Then she asked Ethan, "Heard you had a car accident and lost your memory." Ethan looked indifferent and asked me, "Who is she?" I lowered my head slightly and whispered, "She's the girl who gave you candy." Unsure if he heard, I spoke louder. "She's a classmate from our high school named Chloe." I added, "You used to have a good relationship with her." Chloe laughed. "Yes, we had a very good relationship. Want me to help you recall the past?" Her male companion also laughed. "How about the three of us recall it together?" Chloe agreed enthusiastically. "Sure. It's not like we haven't played that way before." Holding back the urge to vomit, I said to Liam, "Let's go first." Ethan tried to take my hand, but I slapped it away. Liam followed silently behind me and handed me a tissue. After a long while, he asked, Why torture yourself like this? Because it was Ethan, the person I grew up with, cutting ties with him. He couldn't accept a single slash of the sword, so I could only cut it bit by bit with scissors. While I was wiping my tears, Ethan caught up. He looked at me helplessly, a layer of mist in his eyes. I waved my hand. "I'm fine." I turned my back, wiped my face clean, and smiled. "Just sand in the wind. Got in my eye." His raised hand stopped in midair. In the past, whenever I cried, whether from an argument with him or from a book or movie, would always pull me into his arms to comfort me, and I would definitely wait until he said all the sweet words before stopping my tears. He pursed his lips, his eyes sorrowful. For the rest of the way, Ethan didn't say much, just followed us, going down the mountain. Our legs shook from exhaustion. Ethan wanted to support me, but I waved him off. "I can do it." It was just a little uncomfortable. We used to climb many mountains together. The last time was Fragrant Hills last year. My calves were trembling then too. He supported me, and I acted spoiled, wanting a piggyback ride. People passing by laughed seeing us, saying young love was so sweet. From bright daylight to gathering dusk, it seemed we had walked through a very, very long time. I thought there would be a long time ahead too. After dinner, Ethan and I returned to the rental. I washed up and came out. He was still sitting silently on the sofa. I sat cross-legged by the coffee table and took out books to review. "Let's go back to Chicago. I'm homesick." "Let's wait until you get better. Or if you want to go back, I can send you back. I mean, when you graduate, let's go back together." Chicago. I wanted to go back too, whether it was the school we attended or the residential complex where we lived. The bougainvillea always bloomed warmly. How many times had we run happily past them? "Wait. Why wait until I get better?" His voice carried anger. "Emily, we are the most important people to each other. We were, we are, and we will be. No one can change that." I closed the book and stood up. I used to think nothing would change, but now I realize many people can change that. "Since you're better, I'm going back first." He hugged my waist, his muffled voice coming through. "Don't go. What will it take for you to change your mind? Let's separate for a while." I pried his fingers open. When I came out, I saw Liam standing at our door. I was startled. "What are you doing?" "I was afraid you were in danger." I paused, then said, "You came at the right time. I'm packing. Help me take my stuff back to the dorm." "Okay," he said cheerfully. There wasn't much stuff, but medical textbooks were like bricks, heavy and thick, hard to carry. Ethan watched silently as I packed, not saying a word. After a while, he started helping me pack. My tears fell. Ethan didn't come looking for me again. Only occasionally could I see him through the window. Seeing me looking, he would smile, wave, and leave. During the summer after my sophomore year, I didn't go home. I went to an English tutoring agency. In my junior year, I started applying to schools abroad. My parents flew specially to Boston to have a serious talk with me. I understood their worry, but I couldn't be a house swallow anymore. Starting medicine might have been a whim from watching a TV show, but now that I was on this path, I had to do it well. I couldn't count on Ethan to plan my life anymore. Ethan was surprised to learn I applied to schools abroad. He asked me to dinner. When we met, I realized how distant we had become. After a long silence, he asked, "Have you thought it through?" I nodded. He pondered for a moment and said, "I'll go with you." I smiled bitterly and shook my head. I have to grow up on my own eventually. He had officially joined the law firm where he interned. As a trainee lawyer, his salary was already higher than many licensed lawyers, but the price was working overtime until the early morning. Ethan was a man of great ambition. He wouldn't be content going back to Chicago with me to follow his parents' arrangement of taking the civil service exam or working at a state-owned enterprise. Similarly, studying abroad wouldn't help his career as much as building it in Boston. "Emily, I'll always wait for you." He looked at me. "I regret the past every single moment. If time could turn back, I just needed him to leave with me that day we went back to our hometown. Then I would have believed that what happened with Chloe was just a momentary lapse of judgment, that he wasn't a player, that he wasn't unable to resist temptation, that he wouldn't lie to me, but he wasted that last chance. I could walk the whole journey alone too. "Goodbye, Ethan," I said with a smile. "No matter what, I never hated you. I only hope you can truly be happy. After all, you are the Ethan who grew up with me, the Ethan who walked through my entire childhood and youth. We once treated each other as the luminous pearls of our hearts, even though we are apart. I hope you are well." Ethan's side story. Emily was my other life. She was like a precious flower I raised with great care. I poured too much effort into her. I couldn't afford the cost of losing her, but she was too perfect. with her fair face and long black hair. Since middle school, she had become the most dazzling existence in the crowd. Her parents protected her well. Growing up in the teacher's housing compound, she was only exposed to high culture and purity. When Chloe seduced me, and when my friends started talking about dirty topics, I felt thrilled on one hand, but terrified Emily would find out on the other. Sometimes when I was with Emily, I dared not expose the darkest secrets in my heart. I was afraid that the look of admiration and love in her eyes would turn into confusion and disdain. I had to maintain a perfect image in front of her, like a textbook gentleman, someone without desires. Chloe was different. Chloe was like a trash can. She was an extreme that infinitely opened up and magnified human weaknesses. The guys around were all captivated by her. No matter what they looked like in public, the chosen ones in the eyes of teachers and classmates, the dull boyfriends in the eyes of girlfriends, or the impossibly obedient sons in the eyes of parents. In front of Chloe, they all surrendered. Chloe liked the thrill of immorality, and she liked a challenge, so she treated conquering me as a very interesting game. At first, I was unmoved. She kept saying to me, "Touching a hand is nothing. No one knows if we kiss. Just a look. It doesn't matter. Just a little bit each time." Until the snowball got bigger and bigger. Fortunately, she never clung. She disliked all stable relationships. Everything about her was the opposite of Emily. Enjoying the thrill of betrayal with Chloe was like a heart-to-kick addiction. I didn't love her. I wouldn't even think of her when I didn't need her. Body and soul, for men, can really be separated. I only loved Emily. Sometimes watching Emily lower her eyes and study seriously, I would panic uncontrollably. If she found out, no, 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 I immediately denied it. She trusted me, and she couldn't leave me. As long as I coaxed her, she would forgive me. Most importantly, I was very secretive. I didn't expect her to find out, and to break up with me, so resolutely. Whether I apologized, pestered her, or faked amnesia hoping to start over, none of it worked. More importantly, I found that I had ruined her. The formerly innocent and romantic girl was now quiet. Even when she smiled, the smile didn't reach her eyes. She learned to be sensible, learned to suppress her emotions. She even comforted me in return. In just 1 or 2 months, during the time I faked amnesia, I thought countless times, if only time could reverse, if only she was the one with amnesia. I really knew I was wrong, but she really wanted to separate from me. On the mountain, she was crying. I wanted to comfort her, but she controlled her emotions in an instant. I felt powerless. If she were still the little girl who threw herself into my arms crying when aggrieved, I knew I could get her forgiveness no matter what. But now she forgave me only because she didn't want to be entangled with me anymore. Maybe I never understood Emily, or perhaps, the affair with Chloe became the catalyst for her growth. She was no longer lazy. She studied hard, her exam results top of the class. She even wanted to go abroad for further studies. The day I sent her to the airport, she opened her arms first and smiled at me. "Goodbye, Ethan." Tears blurred my vision. She said, "You will always be my best big brother." Ethan's side story later. My career skyrocketed. No matter how chaotic the relationships around me were or how many temptations there were, I dared not dabble again. I hoped Emily could forgive me. Maybe it just hadn't been long enough. She didn't trust me yet. We interacted like family. She was busy with her studies abroad, and I occasionally video called her. She seemed to truly become my little sister. Sometimes when I wanted to be more intimate, she looked indifferent. Liam stayed by her side. Emily wasn't a casual person. I believed if she loved me, she wouldn't love anyone else, just like I wouldn't love anyone else. What did outsiders have that we couldn't give each other? But I didn't expect that in the 3rd year she was abroad. She called me proactively for the first time. I picked up ecstatically. Before I could speak, she smiled and said, "Ethan, I'm getting married. Do you want to come to the wedding?" My expression must have been ugly. I suspected long-term overtime work had caused me to hallucinate. I hung up in a daze, until my parents called and told me not to drive recently. They asked hesitantly, "Are you going to the wedding?" We watched Emily grow up. She's like a daughter to us. "We are going. If you go too, come with us." I didn't even know who the groom was. I forgot to ask. Liam's side story. In the 3rd year of following senior sister, 6 months into our study abroad, she finally asked me, "What exactly do you like about me?" We shared an apartment. Like many Chinese students, we had to adapt to many things and helped each other a lot. Maybe I studied too much then and got a bit dumb, usually glib. I couldn't say anything specific. Senior sister pointed helplessly at the girl knocking on the door outside. Either accept her or get rid of her. That girl knocked every day, saying how much she liked me. Her persistence was staggering. However, Men are never moved to love by a girl's persistence. Finally, I said to that girl, the method you're using on me, I'm using to chase my senior sister. I can tell you clearly, this method doesn't work when girls use it, but maybe it works for guys. You can find someone who loves you instead of wasting time on me. Even if I can't be with senior sister, I won't like you, nor will I be with you. The girl slapped me, calling me ungrateful, seeing the 5-finger marks on my face. Senior sister laughed happily, saying girls should be like that. Ethan was still in her life. Ethan thought I couldn't be a threat to him. At Boston U, he told me, kid, do you know how many years I've known your senior sister? We grew up together. Not even 10 of you could pry her away from me. He was right back then. I couldn't pry her away, so I waited. When I learned Ethan was with Chloe behind senior sister's back, I was happy and angry. Happy because Ethan didn't cherish her himself. Originally, senior sister didn't even look at me properly except to take care of me. Angry because senior sister was so good, yet Ethan betrayed her. Before I could find her, she announced the breakup. I thought my chance had come. Then Ethan got into a car accident. The accident made senior sister's resentment toward him disappear, but they didn't get back together. I became the little tail behind senior sister. I liked the state of quietly studying with her. No matter how noisy the world was, she had her own charm. Standing aloof from the world, schoolwork was heavy. Experiments and reports took up most of our time. When winter came, she finally fell ill after pulling an all-nighter for an experiment. In her haze, she cried out, Ethan, I feel so bad. My heart was suddenly wrenched. She was burning up. I gave her fever reducers and kept cooling her down with towels. She slept through the day and finally got better. After waking up, she was a bit dazed. She told me, I thought I was still in middle school. One summer, my parents and his parents went traveling together, just us two at home. I had a high fever and couldn't get a taxi at night. He carried me on his back for half an hour to the hospital. Her eyes held infinite melancholy. To be honest, regarding his cheating, besides daring to propose the breakup, I don't want to mention it to anyone. I knew that when a person hasn't truly let go of something, they can't talk about it easily. I dream of him often lately. Her slightly pale face looked fragile. She said, I dream we live in a water town in Jiangnan. There's a river in front of the door, girls washing clothes by the river, awning boats drifting slowly. The sunset drapes the town in golden gauze, willows floating in the breeze. Walking home from work, I stopped at the door, thinking, why haven't I seen him today? Because I seem to see him every day, I told myself. Then I'll wait. Just one look is enough. We don't even have to speak. She didn't need my response. Continuing, the dream shifts. I don't know if I saw him, but I think I must have. We were in a courtyard with stone tables and stools, surrounded by lush greenery. We argued. I wanted to leave. He begged me not to, asking what he did wrong and saying head change. I turned to look at him and said, then you can't delay the workers' wages. He anxiously promised me, saying not only would he not delay, he'd give raises. Dream was relieved, and we finally reconciled. I was silent. I didn't know what she meant by telling me this. Every time I dream of him, I wake up feeling very low, but this time is different. I figured it out. I looked at her in fear. I was afraid she wanted to get back together with him. She said, let's just assume that in a parallel world, that Ethan and Emily are truly happily together. Every time I dream of him, my mood gradually gets better, and the frequency of dreaming of him gets lower. I think this is also a form of saying goodbye. She looked at me seriously. Junior, I need to thank you. If you weren't by my side, I wouldn't have had to pretend to be strong. But that pretend strength has now turned into real strength. I can finally truly let go. I don't know what you like about me, or how long your liking will last, but I really won't consider relationship issues right now. You can find another girl who loves you back. Don't waste time on me. I breathed a sigh of relief and winked at her. I don't have time to like anyone else anyway. I can't even finish my experiments. Thinking of the heavy workload, we both smiled bitterly. At Christmas, a few of us international students planned a trip to Europe. We rented a homestay halfway up a mountain, planning a barbecue. We were out of seasoning. Senior sister was useless in the kitchen, so she volunteered to buy it. The snow was heavy that day. Afraid of accidents, I went with her. We got lost in the blizzard. Unfamiliar with the area, we circled for a long time without finding the way. The further we walked, the more desolate it became. The whole world was nothing but snow. She asked me, will we appear in the news tomorrow? International students lost in snow, frozen to death by the roadside, supporting her while trying to identify the direction. I heard this and smiled. That's good then. At least we die together. She looked up at me, her face glowing. I tightened her scarf. looking at her, whispering, "I won't let you die. It should be that direction." Trudging through the deep snow, we finally reached the homestay just as everyone was preparing to come rescue us. That night we drank a lot. The fireplace roared. Everyone started playing truth or dare. Those who did neither had to drink. Senior sister chose to drink every time because she didn't want to answer when her first time was. Nor did she want to kiss anyone. When I took her back to her room, she sat blankly on the edge of the bed, tears streaming down. So when she got drunk, she cried silently. I wiped her face and wrapped her in the blanket. She slept obediently. Ethan video called her phone. I muted it, afraid she might have issues in the night. I slept on the sofa in her room. She really woke up in the middle of the night, turned on the light, and was startled to see me. She asked, "Why didn't you go back to sleep?" I explained, then returned to my room. My room was shared with another guy. Before I knocked, I heard the sounds of a man and woman inside. I had to go back and continue sleeping on the sofa. The moonlight outside was hazy. I didn't know how long I slept, but I felt her cover me with a quilt. I squinted at her. She propped her head up, looking at me, and said, "You really are quite handsome." I was a bit embarrassed. She smiled and said, "If you weren't in my room tonight, who knows who might have hooked you away out there." Many international students were pretty messy too. Her hand was soft and cool. She must really like my eyes. After graduating with our masters, we both decided to pursue PhDs. Things went smoothly. The only accident was that senior sister got pregnant. She was scared, sitting on the sofa full of worry, a bit at a loss. I apologized to her, took out the ring I had prepared long ago, and proposed. She hesitated and said, "I have to ask my parents." I called my parents first, then went to school to process a suspension of studies. My parents were very sincere, giving senior sister a meeting gift of 1 million yuan directly. They liked to settle everything with money. The wedding was being arranged too. When her parents arrived, they slapped me first. Seeing they weren't satisfied, my parents beat me hard too. Senior sister was a bit dazed by it all. My parents bought a house near the school for senior sister, and the wedding was prepared locally. We moved into the new house. When Ethan came over and saw me, his face was gloomy. "You are despicable." He said that to me. It really was an accident. I couldn't hurt her without her consent. I can only say this accident accelerated our marriage, but Ethan had no right to lecture me. Senior sister's pregnancy reactions were severe. She was picky with food, so I had to cook different things for her. One day she was reading in the yard. Ethan said to her, "Emily, are you really going to marry someone else?" She looked up and smiled. "It seems I can only move forward now." At first, I was quite scared. Now I feel like everything is okay. At least Liam has adapted well to the role of expectant husband and father. Ethan's hands hung down, trembling slightly. I smiled faintly. I placed the fruit platter in my hand next to her. The wedding was in a few days. Her friends and family, my friends and family, everyone who could come would come. At night, I held her, telling bedtime stories to the baby. She looked up at me and asked, "Why aren't you scared? Even though you're younger than me." I smiled and said, "Maybe because I'm not the one giving birth." She punched me, pouting a bit angrily. "So, men and women are really unfair." I thought for a moment and said, "So you give birth, I'll raise the kid, you continue school." She sighed in relief. "That would be great." I wanted to ask my mom to come help, but she might not want to leave her students. At the wedding, I cried harder than she did. She was a bit embarrassed, whispering to me, "You're losing face. They're recording." I laughed through tears. She attended classes for half a semester before taking leave. She was very calm on the day of delivery, even comforting me. "Don't be nervous. It'll be over soon." I accompanied her into the delivery room. She was in pain, crying to her mom on the phone, saying she wanted to go home, swearing she'd never give birth again. Fortunately, we had done a lot of homework and preparation beforehand. Her delivery was smoother than others, and she didn't have many marks on her body. I was very lucky to become senior sister's husband and the father of a pair of boy-girl twins. We hired 3 nannies, but it was still chaotic for a while. Ethan visited often and held the kids. I had no hostility toward him. If not for him, I wouldn't be with senior sister. If not for him, I wouldn't have known senior sister's bottom line and resolve. Senior sister went back to her PhD 6 months later. After she graduated, she stayed to teach at the university. When the kids could go to kindergarten, I started studying again. My parents asked if I wanted to go home and join the company or follow an academic path. I chose the latter, not because I loved academia so much, but because wherever senior sister was, that's where I was going.